Welcome to Jackal's Wrestling Entertainment Pod. As always, I'm Caleb.
Jeremiah.
And I'm going to give the floor to Jeremiah as we start off on a sad note to kick off a pod, but here he is.
Yeah, unfortunately, just learned moments ago before we recorded this that Sabu, real name Terry Blanc, has sadly passed away. We do not know the circumstances behind that, but we would just like to send our condolences and prayers to his family, friends, and fans. And just for those of you who maybe don't know who he was so revolutionary to the kind of wrestling you see today. I mean, ECW, Japan, and just the stuff he did, like I said, so ahead of his time, and just really would recommend, if you're not familiar with his work, to go back and watch ECW matches against Taz, Bam Bam Bigelow, Rob Van Dam, tag team matches with RVD as well. And for WWE wise, you short one in 2006, 2007. I'd have to say two matches really stuck out during that time would be One Night Stand 2006 against Rey Mysterio, and Vengeance 2006 against John Cena.
Yeah.
So we just send our best wishes to his family and friends, and I just wanted to give a little tribute to him after just finding out that news.
Now let's kick it off. Let's jump right into Monday Night Raw. We started Monday Night Raw off with Paul Heyman confronting Jey Uso. And he was just, as we would see after this, he was setting the bait and trying to bait Jey Uso into giving Seth Rollins a title match. He said it's all part of the plan. What did you think of this promo and Paul Heyman? And it seems like Seth Rollins' scheme. But the next question I have for you after you answer that is, why do you think Braun Breaker wasn't in on this plan? He's a part of the group, and we saw he knew nothing about it.
Yeah, first off, no, great way kicking off, great promo. Jay coming out there was going to address Logan Paul stuff. Paul Heyman interrupts Jay. Obviously not happy with Paul after what he did to Roman, but like Paul said, Jay also turned on Roman himself. And just really, the wise man for a reason, getting exactly what he wants, getting baiting Jay into that title match against Seth Rollins. To answer your second question, yes, Braun Breaker's in, but he's a part of a faction, and no disrespect towards Braun, but I don't think he's the decision-making of a faction, so to speak. I think that all lies within Rollins and Heyman, and you knew Heyman most definitely went out there, he got the match. Rollins also knew who was behind you as well. So I think, maybe in time, but right now, I think all the decisions lie with Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins.
That makes sense. Next up, we saw Penta defeat J.D. McDonough. Penta getting ready for his Backlash match on Saturday against Dirty Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental title. But what did you make of this match? And we saw a lot of interference from the Judgment Day, despite the fact that Penta was still able to get the victory.
Yeah, no, a very good match. We know Penta's been extremely hot on riding momentum right now. JD just got back from injury a few weeks ago and has not skipped a beat in the tag match with the War Raiders and this one with Penta. And Penta, a great win heading into with momentum to Backlash, fighting off the interference from the Judgment Day. So that was a fun match.
Next up, we saw the return of the Celtic Warrior Sheamus. He defeated Austin Theory in what was a squash match. What did you make of this match? And what do you expect to see from Sheamus now that the fella's back?
Yeah, it was great to see Sheamus. We haven't seen him, I think, since Rumble, or not too long after. So it was a nice surprise. And I'm hoping to see more of Sheamus on weekly television. And we know he still wants that kind of championship. I mean, it's alluded to him. He's been training for 3 years now. It just hasn't worked out. So maybe he'll be coming for Dom, whoever holds that title when he chooses. But it's great to see Sheamus back, and most definitely looking forward to banger after banger.
Next up, we saw a back and forth promo between Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria. And I'm asking you, of course, what do you think of this promo? But, is it just me, or is Lyra Valkyria getting a lot better on the mic in this program with Becky Lynch?
Yeah, most definitely. She's really improved. Like we've seen her, not bad Mike Sears, but a little bit, but not really talk a whole lot. But we've seen more passion, more, um, just more. Seems like more fire. And we said, man, we behind it. It's really worked out really well. We know Becky's one of the best promos there is. Men or women, where we don't look at it, she's just one of the best.
For sure.
And no, it was a great segment. Again, really built even more anticipation for this match. That not get too far of ourselves. It was a really awesome match yesterday.
Next up, we saw, speaking of really awesome matches, we saw Io Sky versus Roxanne Perez. After the match, we would see Julia come out, and we saw Roxanne, what people thought was showing respect to Io. She shook her hand, she walked away. That was just a distraction for Julia to attack Io from behind and get the double team and get the jump on Io Sky. And they made short work of her, they dominated her, and she had no help. So what do you think of the match? And then I'm going to ask you about our match that's announced for tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw. Can you tell me what you think of this match?
Oh, it was a great match. I mean, it seriously was. Like, everything happened afterwards, so we actually got to see a finish of this match, unlike that awesome one between Io and Valcor weeks ago. So, awesome match. Io picks up the win, and yeah, like you said, the fake sportsmanship from Roxanne, and then Julia making her presence felt. So, yeah, no, it's great setup for what you are going to talk about.
And then now, tomorrow on Monday Night Raw, Io Sky has help. She has someone else who has had issues with Julia and Roxanne Perez, and that's Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky will take on Julia and Roxanne Perez. What do you expect to see from that match?
Oh, that's going to be an awesome match. I mean, right now we've seen, not so much in a tag team aspect besides on NXT, but we've seen this alliance form between Roxanne and Julia. So we know that right now they're with each other, they trust one another. How does Io and Rhea walk against a common enemy? Because they're not allies. They spent months feuding with one another heading into WrestleMania, and Rhea still wants that championship. So it should see how that works. But it should be an awesome match. And yeah, Io most definitely has help now.
Next up, we saw Rusev in his first match since returning to WWE. He took on Otis. What'd you make of this match?
I think it was a great way to get Rusev back in the mix. Otis is a big powerhouse, much like Rusev. Good match. Rusev dominated and then beat down Tozawa as well.
Yeah.
So I think right now Rusev's most definitely establishing that heel persona, but it'll be very nice to see where it goes from here.
Next, we saw a face-to-face confrontation between Gunther and Pat. We weren't supposed to see any physicality happen. We didn't. The only thing we saw was at the end, Gunther just gave a push, a nudge to Pat McAfee. But what did you think of that back-and-forth promo?
Oh, I thought it was very good. Again, like, we had the setup and then he suspended Gunther, so Adam Pearce said that was lifted and he was going to, not touch each other. I think Gunther just kind of gave him a little, taste of what was to come Saturday. But no, I thought really good promo by Pat as well myself to, kind of build you up. And yeah, Pat's the underdog. He knows he's the underdog. And Gunther's the former world champion, a man who, good, I think they've said like 80% of his career in WWE, he's had a championship. So
wow, that's insane.
He's a bona fide star.
That's not something to take lightly. Next up, we had our main event. I thought this was one heck of a match. We ended up getting a lot of influences in it, but we had Seth Rollins, Jey Uso World Championship match. What did you make of this match?
Oh, no, it was fun. I mean, it really was. Like I said, the influences, but I mean, this was like a pay-per-view match. Like, you get this really awesome, and we've talked about that a lot this year, you get these really awesome main events. And World title, and like you said, interference, Sammy tried to even the odds because Braun was out there. It didn't work, and then eventually CM Punk would make his presence known. But no, it was just, I think, a great match, and then just really setting the pace for what lies ahead.
Then, speaking of setting the pace for what lies ahead, another match that's been announced on Saturday night's main event, we get Logan Paul and Jey Uso. We've seen the back and forth for promos. Well, after while we off of air, Jey Uso was yeeting with the crowd, and he was going towards the crowd, and when he did, Logan Paul snuck up on the barricade and just punched Jey Uso and left him laying and took off. So that goes a lot towards that Saturday night's main event match. What do you think? How do you think that match is going to go? Do you think it's going to be a main event of Saturday night's main event, or do you think something else is going to main event the show?
That's a tough question because we have to see the lineup, a little bit more. But I mean, right now that could main event, and I don't know who would have a problem with that because Jey Uso, we saw, he's finally got World Championship and deservingly so. Logan Paul has, really just improved, especially this year in general. I mean, we know the good matches with promos, but it just seems like this year, 25, his promos have got better. His in-ring has got so much better. I mean, you look at the match with Rey Mysterio earlier in the year, you look at WrestleMania for AJ Styles. So this match is going to be awesome, and it's really building up now. Jay will be one-on-one. We saw, stood his ground against Seth Rollins with a bunch of interferences. There should be no interferences in this match. So it should be very interesting to see how this goes. I can't wait for this match.
Next up, we saw NXT. We had Dark State defeating the TNA World Champion Joe Hendry and the NXT Tag Champions Hank and Tank. What did you make of this match and also the Trick Williams interference? Do you think if he didn't interfere, do you think Dark State would have suffered their first loss?
They very well could have. I mean, that's a great point. I think Joe Hendry had the momentum in his favor of a match, an awesome match to kick off the show. And Dark State has been just really dominant, really, I think, so far, the backing and bookings there for them to succeed, which is awesome to see. But no, I do think that Joe Hendry, Hagen Take may have picked up a victory had it not been for Trick Williams, but really set the pace for what we would see later on throughout the night.
Next up, we had Zarya versus Kiana. What did you make of this match?
Oh, this is an awesome match like we were talking about when they announced it last week. Just almost like a dream match when you look at that women's division. NXT, so awesome. Such a great roster. And Kalani, she's just, she was the North American champion. She's trying to kind of find her own a little bit after that and this new attitude. But Zarya is just a beast. She held her own, but eventually Zarya's power was too much. And it's just very interesting to see how things will go. We saw that moment a lot of people was talking about where she was very protective of Soluka. It looked like almost they embraced Kalani in a sense when she fell into her. She didn't like that. So it'll be very interesting to see how it goes to see if Zarya's intentions are with So or she just wants that championship.
So that was my next question. We saw Kalani Jordan. She wanted this title match. You mentioned that Zarya beat her. Do you think everyone that steps up for Soluka, Zarya is going to beat until there's no one left to challenge and it's Zarya's title match?
That could be. She could just be taking out all the competition right now. And she's a beast and very capable of doing so. So, no, I would not be surprised to see that at all. Because right now, you can't go after a champion without going through her bodyguard, so to speak.
Next up, we had our NXT Championship known contenders Battle Royal. We had a lot of stars in it. We had No Quarter Catch Crew. We had Trick Williams. We even got TNA's Elias in it, walking with Elias. But nonetheless, Miles Bourne would come away the new number one contender for Oba Femi. What do you make of the match, and what challenge do you think Miles Bourne presents to our NXT champion Oba Femi?
That's a very good question. No, like you said, a star-studded match. And what I've seen, I was kind of surprised by that. No offense to him. We just hadn't really seen him booked so far as a singles competitor, but it looks to be a breakout moment. And earlier on, Joe Hendry would cost Trick Williams his spot in this match, who had a ton of momentum in eliminations. And it'd be very interesting. I mean, much like the rest of us, but outside of the taking division, you're not too familiar with Miles Bourne, so that could present a challenge to the Ruler because, like the rest of us, he's only seen him in tag action. So it will be very interesting to see how that goes, and should be a very interesting match, style-wise.
Next up, we had Carmen Petrovic against Jada Parker. What did you make of this match?
I think it was Carmen Petrovic trying, get away from Ashanti, do her own thing. She did good. I think it's again establishing Jada as she's almost there. I mean, she's next in line for any of the women's championships in NXT, or maybe call up to the main roster. I mean, she's most definitely has it. Whether it is, like they say, she has it. She's going to be a big star, I do believe.
Next up, we had number contenders match for the women's NXT Championship, and that was Jordynne Grace against Julia in what may have been Julia's final match at NXT. And Jordynne Grace picked up the victory. What do you think of this match, and what can we expect for that Stephanie Valcour, Jordynne Grace showdown?
Awesome match, by the way. Like you said, I do believe it might be Julia's last match, as you've seen her featured on Raw a lot in recent weeks. And great match. Jordynne Grace coming up with victory, and I think that could possibly be our main event for Battleground myself. I mean, I think it's a dream world one match. We've just seen the Fatal 4-Ways so far. But Jordynne Grace and Valcour, I seriously believe will still just have a house down at Battleground. So like I said, that might be the main event because it'd be very hard to try top that match in my opinion.
I agree with you on that. Next up, we had, starting SmackDown off, we had a huge tag team match to kick off SmackDown. You had LA Knight and Damian Priest defeating Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. And we also got to see Drew McIntyre, the other participant in that Fatal 4-Way at Backlash that we'll talk about later. But what do you think of that huge tag team to kick off SmackDown?
I thought it was great. Like you said, I mean, that's just a blockbuster way to kick off a show. Solo took the pin. Who's, as we know, is not in the match. But yeah, you finally got Drew. You hadn't seen Drew for a couple weeks. Since he won the match, you did not see him last week. So he made his presence known, made sure you didn't forget he was there, took out the champion with a Claymore. So very strong message sent by Drew, and yeah, great way to kick off SmackDown.
Next up, I was wondering who would Zelina Vega get to help her against Chelsea Green and Horvis, as she calls them. And it was Piper Niven and Chelsea Green against Zelina Vega, and it turned out to be Alexa Bliss. What do you make of Alexa Bliss's return and that big second tag team match we saw on SmackDown?
No, a good match, and yeah, awesome to see Alexa Bliss back. We hadn't seen her since Elimination Chamber, and now, it's after WrestleMania. We're going to start seeing more people that weren't factored into WrestleMania make their presence known, and Alexa Bliss is always just a great performer, a main eventer, so it's awesome to see her back in the fold. But to Zelina, I want to warn, she's not the most trustworthy person. She'll help you, but she might want that championship as well. But no, fun match.
So next up, speaking of fun, we got something fun here. We got a Charlotte promo saying, Charlotte pretty much saying she has to be more of herself. She has to do things her way, not try to do what everybody else wants her to do. And she said she's going to start at the bottom. She's coming back up for the women's championship. But as she was leaving the ring, we saw a little stare down between Jade Cargill and Charlotte Flair. What do you make of that promo? And do you think that stare down could possibly lead to something more?
Yeah, no, very interesting. Charlotte, I mean, in interviews outside before this, she was saying that, it's time maybe change things up, maybe go more with herself in the character. And no, like I said, the crowd was against her, booing her. She decided to leave, but like you said, she said that we got that little moment there between her and Jade. I mean, that could be WrestleMania, that could be a SummerSlam match. That's just a huge main event match all over, a dream match. And then we also saw her an interaction with Alexa Bliss on the way out, so very interesting to see what that might lead to.
Yeah. Next, we had the Jade Cargill, Nia Jackson contenders match, and of course, Naomi would make her presence known, costing Jade Cargill, and we know Nia Jax is the number one contender for Tiffany Stratton's Women's Championship, possibly at Saturday night's main event. But what do you think of that match, and just where do you see... We see that Jade Cargill and Naomi's not over. What more can they do? What match do you think's coming next in their rival?
Oh, that's a great question. No, that was a fun match. Nia picking up by underhanded means, but still picked up a big win to challenge Tiffany for the Women's WB Championship. And like you said, that could be at Saturday night's main event. That would be an awesome match added to the card. And man, that is a tough question. Let's see. I mean, they've been killing each other. I think you could go 1 or 2 matches would really kind of maybe put the nail in this feud. and that could possibly be a steel cage match or even a last woman standing match, just because
Be interesting.
it's been all over the place. We had the regular match at WrestleMania. Naomi came up short, but that did not do the job. She's still not happy.
Next up, I thought this was a really cool moment. We had the Street Profits coming out. They survived that TLC tag team match. They're still tag champions. They were interrupted by a team we talk about a lot on here, on this podcast. And that's Fraxium. It led to what I thought was an amazing match. And Fraxium getting the upset over the tag champion Street Profits. What'd you make of the promo, the match? And we talk about Fraxium a lot. Just give me what you think of Fraxium. Could they be the next tag champions?
That's a very real possibility. So, it was great. Like you said, they were talking about they survived that TLC match. That TLC match was amazing. I think everyone will agree with that. And the Profits have just been at the top of their game since they've returned. And Fraxium, they've just been momentum riding like crazy. We know what they did in NXT. Now you've seen them now on SmackDown. And now you just had a match that could have main evented SmackDown, but was doing it. And it was a great match. Fraxium got like you said, upset over the champs. And they could be the next tag champions. It's a very real possibility. But it just shows again that SmackDown tag division is so awesome. SmackDown has really put the spotlight on tag team wrestling, which I hope remains when it eventually goes back to 2 hours, because we've seen some great tag matches.
Speaking of tag teams, we also saw the Machine Guns kind of somewhat welcome Fraxium to SmackDown. Both teams were jumped by DIY, so that's something to keep in mind as we move forward. We know DIY is coming. They still want the tag titles back. And they're still sticking to them. They're still doing any tactic possible to get where they need to be. So that's something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, no, you're right. Exactly. It's like awesome because it really takes you back to a time of almost the SmackDown tag division. It's almost like the 2000 tag team division when you had the Hardys, Edge, Christian, Dudleys. They were the stars, but I mean, you also had the Radicals. You had White 2 Cents or Too Cool, TNA, APA, Road Dogg, and X-Pac for a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it was all over the place, just stacked, and that's what the SmackDown division reminds me of at this moment in time.
Yeah. Next up, we had a really good match. We had Aleister Black versus Carmelo Hayes. What do you think of that? And Aleister's picked up a couple wins since his return.
Yeah, and we saw that promo from him too. Just saying his intentions moving forward. And he has Miz. That was an awesome match. Everyone, it's been all over the Skull Crushing finale counter. Melo again, like we said, so good. Always steals the show. I think every week on SmackDown against whoever they put him against. And very impressive win for Aleister, and it'd be very interesting to see what's going on moving forward. He has momentum with him.
Next up, we got to see Andrade and Rey Fenix against Borto and Garza. And I'll ask you what you think of the match before we go into what happened after the match.
No, fun match. Rey Fenix has been in a little feud with Santos, and we've seen even Andrade been teased in there, and we finally got to see them team up against Borto and Angel. So that was very awesome to see, and I just it's everything going forward, like you said, we'll talk about. But also Andrade, where's his intentions at? Because he's helping Rey Fenix, but could he possibly want to jump Rey Fenix for a shot himself to elevate his name a little bit more?
Yeah, sure. He's the best kind of luchador type wrestler.
Exactly.
Yeah. So after the match, we saw Santos kind of berating Borto, and Borto had enough, and he got up and he pushed Santos out of his way and walked away and smacked him, and then left the ring, and Garza didn't even know what to do. What do you make of that? And are we just seeing the end of Santos and his group that he made? Like, is everything crumbling around him? We know Elektra Lopez got unfortunately cut, but now it looks like he's going to be without Borto and possibly without Garza as well.
No, it could be. I mean, you look and you talk about that stacked tag team division, and Borto and Angel has been a part of that with the rest of those guys and Pretty Deadly that we were talking about earlier. And Santos has been yelling, but you have to think from Borto's standpoint, what have you done? You lost to him last week yourself, but yet you're berating me for losing to him. So I think we will. I think it is over, and I think Angel will ultimately probably side with Borto, and they're still probably, think, stay a tag team and still go after those tag belts. But I don't think with Santos anymore, no.
Next up, we had the big moment heading in Backlash. For last time we see John Cena and Randy Orton one-on-one. We had the big promo, which I thought was John Cena's best heel promo, was his promo on SmackDown, and it ended with a Randy Orton RKO. What do you make of the promo, and what do you think of the RKO, but also Orton sending someone out there first, which we would later on find out is Sean Spears, in a Orton short and a mask, before he showed up and hit the actual RKO.
No, that was a great move by the Viper, staying one step ahead of Cena. But I agree with you too. I think so. I think it was great. It seems like maybe John Cena feels more, he's got more comfortable, more natural in this environment now, and just really like hit on a bunch of cylinders, really bringing up Randy's troubled past into the storyline, which is all real life stuff, which always makes it interesting. And no, it was. I think it really set the pace for Backlash. And yeah, just like you said, Randy staying a step ahead of John Cena. Sean Spears took the AA, and then John took the RKO.
Next up, we go on to Backlash. We kick Backlash off with a huge WWE United States Championship Fatal 4-Way where Jacob Fatu would defeat Drew McIntyre, LA Knight, Damian Priest. But it wasn't without the help of Solo and the newly signed WWE superstar Jeff Cobb. What do you think of the 4-Way, and what do you think of Jeff Cobb's debut?
Yeah, no, I mean, a great way, very exciting, like action-packed way kickoff of pay-per-view. We saw Drew and Priest kind of take each other out of the equation. I don't think that's done just yet myself. I think they're headed towards another match.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, Fatu had no idea. Fatu, like Barrett pointed out, was just as confused as the rest of us. Solo had this in mind the whole time. He comes out, attacks LA Knight. Fatu looks kind of confused, but, goes in, capitalizes, keeps the championship. And they were saying that back on the Indies, at least a good maybe 7-8 years ago, they've had a series. They've been rivals, Fatu and Jeff Cobb.
Wow.
So I could explain Fatu's look at them, but it's extremely interesting just to see Solo is still out there. Bloodline, or whatever you call this faction now, he's still building it. He said on Friday, we need soldiers. All my soldiers are hurt, and he's went out to recruit another beast. So it'll be very interesting to see where this goes.
We want to wish best of health to Drew McIntyre. We know he was supposed to hit the table, but the back of his head did not hit the table at all, and it hit straight concrete, and we know WWE was monitoring that situation, so we wish the best to Drew McIntyre. Moving on, we had a Women's Intercontinental Championship match. I thought this was like a show stealer. Amazing match. Lyra Valkyria retained against Becky. After the match, Becky just assaulted her, broke her nose, put her in the disarmor. But what do you think of the match, and what do you think of Becky's actions after?
No, a great match, like you said. It really was. It delivered. And it was like you predicted last week. Lyra did get the Whiffle retain the championship. And Lyra said Bray was saying it'd be her biggest win on the main roster, and it was. She's now 2-0 against Becky, to my knowledge.
She's impressive.
Very impressive. And no, it's not over yet. It's far from over. Becky jumped in. Becky is going to go into defending the title again because Lyra's going to want revenge for those actions after the match. But no, awesome match.
And then we had our Men's Intercontinental Championship match where we would see Dominic Mysterio defeat Penta, but not without interferences from the Judgment Day and El Grande Americano. What did you make of this match?
No, awesome match. Very fun. Dominic. We've really seen him step up another level since winning the Intercontinental Championship. Penta's been on a roll. And yeah, no, there's a lot of stories involved in this match. Like, what was Finn's deal? I mean, you only have so much time if ref's not looking. He's making a spectacle out of it, which, angered, I think, JD and Carlito.
Yeah.
And then what's El Grande Americano's beef with Penta? That was just kind of that one caught me off guard. I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
So it'll be very interesting to see what develops tomorrow night. But shout out to Dom for keeping Mankind championship.
Next up, we had Gunther and Pat McAfee. This match was actually better than I thought it'd be, and even after the match, Gunther gave some respect to Pat. What'd you make of this one?
Yeah, no, it was. I'm with you there. It was better than I thought it'd be as well. Pat tried his hardest. He gave a good fight to Ring General. Michael Cole tried with an assist that did not work, but he tried. And, yeah, like you said, surprisingly, a sign of respect from Gunther to Pat after that match. I thought for sure Gunther was going to jump him or knock him down again, but no, he gave him his respect and left. So even Pat even earned Gunther's respect and defeat. So that was awesome.
Next up, we had the huge main event. Everybody was waiting for WWE Undisputed Championship match. Last time ever, John Cena, Randy Orton. Cena retained, and oddly enough, some say he only retained because of R-Truth. So what do you think of the match, and is that true? Was the only reason he retained that title, was it because of R-Truth?
Yeah, no, it was a fun match. A lot of referee spots. We saw a bunch of RKOs given to the producers. But no, I do have to agree. I honestly, it was because of R-Truth. I did not see John getting up. It looked like that punt was getting ready to happen. It did not look like Cena was going to move. And then, very interesting way for it to end. Because I don't see Randy going after R-Truth. I mean, I don't see that being a future rivalry, a future storyline. But John Cena is going to take any advantage he possibly can. This is a different John Cena, a dangerous John Cena. But if that was the last time, it was an end of an era, most definitely.
We also saw a press conference after Backlash where John Cena, with attitude adjustment, R-Truth, the man who helped him retain through a table. So it just shows John Cena has no respect for anyone right now.
No, he does not, which makes him even more dangerous.
Yep. Okay, now we have you with our match of the week and our MVP of the week.
Yeah, so tough, very lot of stacked matches this week. So from Raw, we're going to take Io and Mark Sand, and we're going to take that main event, Jay and Seth. From NXT, we are going to take the six-man tag between Joe Hendry, Hank and Tank against Dark State, and we are going to take the main event, Jordan Grace and Julia. On SmackDown, we are going to take that opening tag team match between the LA Knight, Priest against Solo and Fatu. We are going to take that match between Fraxium and the Street Profits that just completely stole the show. And then from Backlash, we are going to take the Fatal 4-Way for the United States Championship. We're going to take the Women's Intercontinental title match, Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria, and explosive week, great action. But I have to give the match of week this week to Fraxium and the Street Profits. That was just a very awesome tag team match, just very exciting, fast pace, and awesome win for Fraxium. And MVP this week, we are going to go with Pat McAfee. Great promo Monday night against Gunther, and then that match. He gave it his all. He's not the wrestler. He's wrestled a few matches back and forth. He hasn't wrestled for a few years now. Ex-football player, commentator, and he really did give a heck of a match against one of the best in WWE and just for World Today in Gunther. So I'm going to most definitely give Pat McAfee the MVP of this week.
I like it. A lot of Backlash talk, a lot of Fatal 4-Way talk. So I'm going to combine them. I'm going to, for a fallback match of the week, I'm going to combine Backlash and a Fatal 4-Way. Fatal 4-Way for, what was it, the WWE?
Yeah.
WWE Championship, where Triple H defeated Randy Orton, JBL, and John Cena at Backlash 2008. Really good match. It's not often you get to match with 4 megastars.
Yeah, exactly. Who all wore at that time of a match, too.
Yeah. And yeah, but just great match. If you want to go back and check that out, it's on Peacock, of course, where you can find all WWE pay-per-views. But we also want to thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week.